Yeah. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're having an amazing Monday and welcome to the Reality Bang. I'm RJ Yohann, your host for the session, and thank you for tuning in. That's it. If you guys want to contribute to our topics, have anything to say, or just want to tell us what an amazing job we're doing, you can reach out to us at 6364252164. Now let's jump right into today's topic. The theme of the topic for today is Parents' Day, and the main theme is the power of parenting, raising happy, healthy, and hopeful children. We have a special guest for the show, Mr. Iype, who is a staff member here at FEBA. It's a pleasure to have you, sir, on the show. So for
Thank
this
you.
edition of the
Thank
Reality
you.
Bang, yeah, for this edition of the Reality Bang, Mr. Iype and I are going to be having a discussion centered around Parents' Day, and we're going to give you guys a better understanding of today's topic. So, my first question is like, in this day and age, like, how should parents connect with their children?
That's a uh, very interesting question. How parents should be connecting with their children. In fact, when a child is born, he's physically connected to the mother.
Yeah,
So there's no question of connecting with the child. The connection is already there. Physically, a child is being connected to its mother. Then you may ask, what about the father? Definitely,
yeah,
the child is connected to the father as well. In fact, the the main issue in a family, especially when the children are growing up, is that they learn so many values by looking at their parents, because they are the first human beings that they come in contact with. That they are the ones that a child will observe first. So the connection is already there. As someone said, when a child is born to a parent, a blank paper is given to them. It is the parent who can write on it.
yeah,
So the connection is already there. Now the issue is how to maintain that connection. Now, if you look at a child, especially a human child, there is a big difference between animals and human beings, especially the young ones. If you look at an animal, most of the animals, they will become mature when they are 1 or 1.5 years old.
yeah,
Okay. Now, for example, a cattle or a sheep, cow, it will give birth to another child when it's between 1.5 and 2 years old. But a human child will grow, his body or her body will grow till the child is 18 years old. And I believe it is a design. The design is the brain has to grow.
yeah,
Some of you would have seen the movie Honey, I Blew Up the Kids.
yeah,
If a 1.5-year-old child has the body of a fully grown up or even bigger than that,
yeah,
it's going to be a disaster. And that's why the child physical body is small, and it has been given time to grow so that it will match the growth of the brain as well. So it is needed for a child, a human child, to grow slowly. But
yeah,
in that slow growth, we can divide that growth into three uh, different areas. It's not a very scientific way of doing it. I'm not a psychiatrist, but it's a common man's observation. The first stage, the child is so helpless. The child needs all the help from its parents. Somebody has to take care of the child. It can't even turn around by itself.
yeah,
Such a helpless stage. That's where it begins. So the parents, they have to do everything for the child. Then we have the stage where the child grows and the child starts to do things by itself. Okay, that's probably an intermediate stage where the child can do certain things, but the child is not able to do everything. So somebody has to help. At the same time, child also learns to do things by itself.
yeah,
Then comes the third stage where the child can be independent. Okay, probably when he's 18, our country recognizes an 18-year-old boy or a girl as an adult. He can vote, he can have a bank account, and he can work, he can have income. So they consider that person as a grown up. So that's when he or she will be able to take care of herself or himself. So in these three stages, all, all these three stages, the role of the parents are important. But at the same time, the parents should remember that their role is not the same during all these three stages.
Yeah.
In the beginning stage, they have to take care of everything. And in the intermediate stage, it's a balance. They should be able to find out what the child can do and what child cannot do, or it is dangerous for a child to do. And they will do that for their child. But when a child is 18, they should be able to take their hands off and say that now we have an individual, a grown-up individual, who should be able to do things by himself. He or she should be able to take decisions by herself. Of course, they can advise, they can give counsel, they can also share from their own experience. But it is important that those people should take the decision. Now,
Yeah.
as a parent, um, it should be our responsibility that when this child is 18, when he becomes a man, how is he going to live? How is she going to live? That should be our goal. Don't keep short goals. Of course, we should have short goals that, the chart should be there. The physical health, there's the chart, the height and the weight of the child and the vaccination that's needed. But more than that, should aim at an individual, a grown-up individual. And I am aiming for that. The parents should aim in such a way that children will be grown up to become responsible citizens of the society. So
Exactly.
the connection should be there, but these connections change over the time.
Yeah. That was a very well piece of advice. Well put. Now coming over to my very next question. Now, what's the right way of addressing your children's problem?
Okay. Now, when we say addressing children's problem, and we mean parents,
Yeah.
uh, we give we give an idea that we don't have any problems. We are above all this. That's not true. We all have problems. Okay. Now,
Yeah.
grown-ups, they think that they can handle problems better than children. That's true. Certain things which children are not able to handle, and grown-ups can help. But that doesn't mean that grown-ups don't have problems. They do have problems. Sometimes they also mess up. They are not able to handle certain problems. We have so many examples of that. So when you are uh, uh, talking about the problems of the children, how do you know that your child has a problem? That's the first question. What is the problem, or how do we know that the child
Yeah.
has a problem? Well, see, we read an article about children or a report about a survey among the children, and we assume that my child also has that problem. We
Yeah.
should be we will be wrong. That doesn't mean that every child has the same problem. So if you want to know what is the problem with your child, if he has any problem, she has any problem, she should be able to tell you.
Exactly.
Children will have problems, and the children will share their problem with someone else. That's
Yeah.
also for sure. But if a child has the freedom to share his or her problem with their parents,
Hmm.
that's amazing. If that freedom is there, and I think the problem is solved. See,
Yeah.
if I have a problem and if I am not able to share that problem with others, uh, the problem is there. Then I also have this pressure that no one understands me. That's
Yeah.
an added pressure. But if I can share my problem with my friend or someone else, at least he heard it. He understood it. That's a great relief. That's true with children also. So
Yeah.
since if they are afraid to share it with their parents, they will share it with someone else, and that can create problems. That might lead to some other danger. It depends on whom they are going to share their problem. So number one is, as parents, we should we should give the freedom to our children to express themselves. You know,
Yeah.
this is not a switch that you can start one day. Yeah, okay, today onwards, I'm free to listen and I'm giving the freedom to my children to share. It doesn't happen that way. As I mentioned earlier, the connection is already there. It is the responsibility of the parents to maintain that connection.
Yeah.
That when they speak, when children speak, you should be willing to listen. Oh, he's a child. He is talking nonsense. Why should I listen to him? That's the attitude many parents have. Okay,
Yeah.
that's a very wrong attitude. If you are listening to him, and if he knows that he listens to you, he'll be happy to share his problems, even his joys,
Yeah.
the victories that he had, the problems he had. He will be able to share. So the parents should uh, provide an atmosphere where children are free to share their problems. Now, when they are free, if they are free to share their problems, then it's a matter of time. You can find a solution for that. Okay.
Yeah.
See, the problem is many times parents, as a parent, I also can say that many times we talk to children only when there is a problem
Yeah.
or only when they do something wrong.
Yeah.
If I call, or it actually happened with me. Once I called my daughter. I think I called her, and she came to me and said, "Am I in trouble?" Oh, I felt so bad. As a father, I was a failure. I call her only if there is a problem. I never call her and talk to her normally. This is the impression she had. I was so ashamed when I heard that. That shouldn't be the case. That you should be able to talk to them, and they are open to share their
Yeah.
problems. See, child abuse and all these problems that we hear today, it is all done by blackmailing children.
Yeah.
They'll tell that, I'll tell your parents. Now, if a child can turn around and say, go tell my parents, they believe me, not you.
Yeah.
That's the end of blackmailing, right?
Exactly.
Nobody can blackmail them. Blackmail them. That is the confidence a child should have in their parents, and that's how we can easily handle most of the problems that children are facing.
Yeah. Again, once again, that was a really well put answer. And of course, that is going to give a lot of, that's going to be a guiding path to parents out there who are listening to this. Coming over to my third question now, why is it important to know about your child's strength and weaknesses?
It is important because we also have strengths and weakness as parents.
Yeah.
Okay, if your child has some strength, if the child has some weakness, most probably it is you would have handed it over to him or her because you are the physical parent. Okay,
Yeah.
now we must remember that God has given me a life, my wife a life. We had our dreams. Some of the dreams were fulfilled, some of them were not fulfilled. Okay, that's your life. Now that freedom you should give to your child also.
Yeah.
It is his life. It is her life. We should help them to take decisions. We should guide them when they are young, when they are not able to take decisions regarding certain things. We should do that. But ultimately, we should be helping them to take decisions.
Exactly.
And that's what I said. We should aim for an 18-year-old boy or a girl or 18-year-old adult. That is our that's our goal. An 18-year-old boy who is able to take his own decision. An 18-year-old girl who's able to take the right decision regarding her life. Okay. So if you are doing that, then you will also realize their strengths and weaknesses, and we don't try to push them into some other mode.
Yeah.
If I appreciate certain profession, and that doesn't mean that all my children should do that.
Yeah.
They also have appreciation for certain other professions, right?
Yeah.
And I have many examples. I have I have spoken to a friend of mine, not a friend, he's much younger to me. I met him and in another country. He said, I'm doing aluminum fabrication business. And I asked him, what is your qualification? He said, I am a medical doctor. I said, what? Yeah, I'm a medical doctor because my parents wanted me to be a medical doctor. And the moment I finished my degree, I decided I'm going to do business, and he's doing that. I could see the resentment and anger in his reaction. You know, what you should remember is, in our life, probably the best time in our life is, in your teenage
Yeah.
and probably 20. During that time, if you are forced to do something that you don't like, and if that is your choice, if you can avoid that, oh, that's going to leave a lot of frustration and bitterness in you. I think
Yeah.
that should be there. You should allow children to pursue their interests and uh, their dreams rather than imposing our dreams upon them. So it is good to know their strength and encourage them to do their best.
Exactly.
Okay, that's what we should do. You want to do that, but be good at that. That should be the encouragement that we should give to our children, rather than asking them and doing the arm twisting and forcing them to do something that they don't like. Yeah.
So, you spoke about like parents should guide children till they become 18. Now, how do you advise parents to, go through these stages, like till the child becomes 18?
Now, see, in the beginning stage, it is important that certain things should be taught by parents. Okay,
Yeah.
and I would say number one in that list is parents should teach their children to obey the authority.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, that's the basic thing. I think it was George Washington, the first president of the United States. His mother was asked this question: "What is that you taught him so that he became a great leader and he became the first president?" This is what that lady said. I taught him to obey. Everything else fell in place.
Exactly.
You know, these are the days when people say, corporate punishment or it is using pain as a punishment for
Yeah.
children and all that is wrong. It's a wonderful idea. I wish things were like that. It's a wonderful idea. But my only thing is, if you are not giving any pain to the children, then remove guns and lathis from the hands of the policemen. Remove prisons. Remove courts. Why you want to inflict pain on grown-ups? You want to inflict pain on grown-ups when they don't obey the law.
Yeah.
You can do it in a very simple way at home when you teach your child to obey the rules.
Exactly.
And you are actually creating a law-abiding citizen, probably with a very small piece of stick. You need not use lathis or guns.
Yeah.
If you fail to do that, you have to do it in a much painful way, right?
Yeah.
And that is what is happening, right? So we must teach them how to obey.
Yeah.
And also, what is important in life? You know, as a parent, I can tell my child, you should do this, and if you don't do it, there is a consequence. Of course, if they don't obey, there is a consequence. But if that is the only thing that forces the child to obey, the child will obey, but the child will not respect.
Yeah.
There are two things here. The one thing is to obey. We obey the policeman. We obey the traffic policeman. Even the one who takes bribe, we obey them. We don't respect them.
Yeah.
But it will be wonderful if you can respect and obey. Now that's quite a different thing. The respect is not because of the fear. Respect only comes counts when you love a person.
Yeah.
You can't respect a person whom you don't love. So even when we discipline, even when we train our children, they should realize that we are doing it because we love them. Okay? So you should never forget to express your love to your children. There are times when they need a hug. There are times when they need a treat. There are times when they need encouragement. Of course, there are times when they need correction as well.
Yeah.
But after going through all this, the child should realize, yes, this person loves. Okay, and if that is there, they will definitely want to know, what do you think about the decisions that you take in your life?
Yeah.
You know, I heard of a girl, and her friends asked her to go somewhere, and she came home and told her mother, "I don't want to go. Why don't you say you don't go, so that I can tell my friends that my mother said no, don't go." See, what is the understanding between the mother and the daughter,
Yeah.
right? It is possible to have such relationship with parents and children. It happened to a teenager. Can you believe it? A teenager having that kind of a relationship with a mother. I think that's great. So we should, when we try to make rules, it always makes rebellion. But if
Yeah.
they respect you, there is nothing like that. We should also respect a child, a person.
Exactly.
No, just because the child, don't think that he is not a person. In fact, in the Bible, severe condemnation has been pronounced against someone who despises a child.
Yeah.
If you cause stumbling to a child, this is what Jesus said: tie a millstone on it, so huge stone around your neck, and throw him in the sea. That's better. Very severe word for not respecting a child, a
Yeah.
person. So we should respect them, the child. And don't think that since you're a parent, you're always right.
Exactly.
We are also human beings. We also make mistakes. And if we make mistakes, tell sorry to your children. There's nothing wrong in that. You don't try to act like God, because you are not. And they are the ones who first find out that you are not perfect. So there is no point in acting before children. And if you do that, uh, it, children will find out that you're not perfect, and on top of that, you are a hypocrite as well. So
Exactly.
better not to do that, and be open, be very honest with your children. Now, while I was thinking about this program, I remembered a poem that I studied when I was, I think, when I was in PU. I think I was in PU, and I forgot about it. And then many years later, I remember it, and then I forgot who wrote that poem and all that. Then I searched in the net and found out this poem. This poem is written by one Coventry Patmore. He's an English poet. Uh, Probably some 200 years ago, he lived. And in this poem, a father uh, and a son, and the child's mother is no more.
Yeah.
And for some reason, he disciplined his child. I think he would have inflicted some pain, and the child went and slept. And then he's uh, he's going back to his bedroom, and he's these are the thoughts that he's saying. I just read that poem. My little son, who looked from thoughtful eyes and moved and spoke in quite grown-up voice, having my law the seventh time disobeyed, I struck him and dismissed with hard words and unkissed. His mother, who was patient, being dead, then fearing lest his grief should hinder sleep, I visited his bed. but found him slumbering deep, with darkened eyelids and their lashes yet from his late sobbing wet. And I, with morn, kissing away his tears, left others of my own. For on a table drawn beside his head, he had put within his reach a box of counters and a red veined stone, a piece of glass abraded by the beach, and 6 or 7 shells, a bottle with bluebells, and 2 French copper coins ranked there with careful art. To comfort his sad heart, so when that night I prayed to God, I wept and said, Ah, when at last we lie with drenched breath, not vexing thee in death, and thou rememberest of what toys we made our joy, how weakly understood thy great command good, then fatherly not less than I whom thou hast moulded from the clay, thou wilt leave thy wrath and say, I'll be sorry for their childishness. We look at children and say that they are childish, but the poet says, the Heavenly Father looks at the grown-ups and he sees their childishness as well.
Yeah.
I thought that's wonderful.
That indeed was a very wonderful poem. And overall, in the show, like you gave very valuable advice. Like I'm pretty sure like most of the parents who are watching the show along with their kids like would take really valuable notes about what you just said. So that officially brings us to the end of today's show. Thank you, Mr. Iype, for joining the show. It was indeed a pleasure to have you on the show. And
Thank you, Yohann.
yeah. And remember, guys, we air on Mondays at 4:30 p.m. That said, if you guys want to contribute to our stories or have anything to say or just want to tell us what an amazing job we're doing, you can reach out to us at 6364252164. And a huge thank you to our listeners for tuning in to this edition of the Reality Bang. This is RJ Yohann. Hope you're having an amazing Monday and amazing week ahead. And I'll see you next Monday. God bless you.